Japan is widely recognised for its low crime rates compared to other developed countries, making it one of the safest nations in the world. According to the National Police Agency, the overall crime rate has been steadily declining over the past decade. In 2023, Japan reported approximately 600,000 criminal cases, a significant drop from over 2.85 million cases in 2002. Violent crimes such as homicide and assault are particularly rare. For instance, Japan's homicide rate stands at around 0.3 per 100,000 people, one of the lowest globally. Contributing factors to Japan's low crime rates include a strong sense of community, effective law enforcement, and strict gun control laws. However, issues such as cybercrime and organised crime by Yakuza groups remain areas of concern. Despite these challenges, Japan's overall safety and security continue to be exemplary on the international stage. As the new millennium approached, however, in 1999, the country was rocked by the murder of a young woman who had pleaded with the Japanese police to help her prior to her murder, yet was refused. The case resulted in a massive overhaul within the Japanese authorities and their treatment of cases which involved stalking. Shiori Ino was born on the 18th of May 1978 to parents Kenichi and Kyoko, and by October of 1999 she was a 21-year-old university student at Ajimi Guwaken Women's University in Niiza, Saitama Prefecture. While attending university, she lived 25 miles from her hometown of Okigawa, a city steeped in history and tradition. Originally a rural settlement, it gained prominence during the Edo period as Okigawa Shuku, a post station on the Nakasendo route, which connected Edo, now Tokyo, to Kyoto. This made Okigawa a bustling hub for travellers and merchants, fostering economic growth and cultural exchange. Historical landmarks from this era, such as old inns and way stations, can still be found in the city. In January 1999, Shiori Ino met 26-year-old Kazuhito Komatsu at an amusement arcade in Omiya Station, who told her that he ran several massage parlours, which were actually brothels, with his firefighter brother Takeshi. Komatsu claimed to be a 23-year-old entrepreneur dealing in cars, real estate, and precious metals. After 4 or 5 dates, Komatsu began giving Shiori lavish gifts, like Louis Vuitton handbags and Gucci clothing in public, and verbally abusing her when she refused them. Despite only having her telephone number, he started calling her frequently at home. When Shiori tried to end the relationship, he threatened her into staying. On March 20th, while visiting Komatsu's apartment, Shiori found a video camera installed in the room. When she inquired about it, Komatsu became furious. He then shoved her against the wall of the adjacent room and struck her face into the wall. On March 24th, she confided in a friend that she feared for her life. By March 30th, she had written a will and made another attempt to break up with him, but she relented after he threatened her family, including her younger brother. On June 14th, Shiori met Komatsu at a cafe and firmly told him she no longer wanted to be in a relationship with him. Later that day, Komatsu, his brother Takeshi, and a friend went to the Ino family home, where they threatened Shiori and her mother with fabricated claims of Shiori being responsible for Komatsu's fictional financial crimes. When Shiori's father returned from work, they also threatened him, but he remained unmoved and ordered them to leave, telling them to take back the gifts Komatsu had forced on Shiori. The 3 men left, explicitly stating they did not want the gifts back. Unbeknownst to them, Shiori had recorded the entire encounter. The next day, she took the recording to the Saitama police. Despite one young officer's outrage, the officers she spoke with actually dismissed her case. That same day, the Ino family received a call from someone identifying himself as Tanaka, demanding the return of the gifts after a series of about 20 silent calls. This daily barrage of silent calls persisted until October 26th. On June 16th, Shiori and her parents returned to the Saitama police. Once again, the police refused to take any action, implying that Shiori was at fault for ending a relationship with a suitor after accepting his expensive gifts. They suggested that she visit a free legal clinic run by the Chamber of Commerce. During a brief 15-minute consultation, the lawyer dismissed their concerns, saying, quote, "But she had a lot of things bought for her, right?" The next day, Shiori received a call from Komatsu, who demanded they get back together. When she refused and mentioned going to the police, Komatsu reacted angrily and abruptly hung up. On June 21st, Shiori returned all the items Komatsu had given to her by courier service to his address. The next day, June 22nd, Komatsu's brother Takeshi proposed a 20 million yen murder for hire plan to Yoshifuma Kubota, a 33-year-old former manager of one of their massage parlors, acting on Komatsu's instructions. Kubota agreed and enlisted two acquaintances, Akira Kawakami and Yoshitaka Ito. To establish an alibi, Komatsu left for Okinawa on July 5th. Kubota, Kawakami, and Ito, who possessed a photo of Shiori, surveilled the Ino family home and the nearby train station to coordinate the planned murder. Over the following 4 months, the Ino family faced increasing harassment and threats. The media attention surrounding the family intensified significantly. For over 2 months, the press persistently crowded their home, and there were numerous reports that further tarnished Shiori's reputation. Throughout their neighbourhood and at her father's workplace, hundreds of posters and letters defaming Shiori and her father were distributed. Despite presenting the police with letters, photos of licence plates and other evidence, no action was taken. When the family filed libel charges, senior police officers actively obstructed the investigation, fearing that unresolved cases would damage their reputations. Kenichi stated his thoughts, quote, "No one is helping me, and they're spreading rumours about my daughter. Don't mess with me." On October 26, 1999, Shiori Ino departed from her home on a bicycle, travelling to Okinawa Station for afternoon classes at university. Ito, who was observing from a nearby car, notified Kawakami, who then drove to the station and dropped off Kubota. As Shiori dismounted her bike at the station's west exit, Kubota approached her and inflicted a single stab wound to her side. As she turned around, he stabbed her again, this time fatally in the heart. Shiori Ino was taken by emergency services to Agio Central General Hospital, where she sadly succumbed to her injuries. Shiori was confirmed deceased at 1:30 p.m, with the time of death approximately 12:50 p.m, with the cause of death being shock due to severe bleeding caused by wounds to her lungs. The Saitama Prefectural Police launched a campaign of wild disinformation, portraying Shiori as a promiscuous individual with a penchant for expensive items from luxury brands. The tabloids, followed by mainstream media, eagerly propagated these sensational claims, fabricating stories about Shiori working as an escort. The Komatsu brothers and their 3 accomplices remained at large until journalist Kiyoshi Shimizu took on the case himself. His investigative report, published in the magazine Focus, exposed Shiori's prolonged suffering and included a photograph of her stalker. On December 19, 1999, Shiori's killer, Yoshifuma Kubota, was arrested. The following day, Takeshi Komatsu, Akira Kawakami, and Yoshitaka Ito were also taken into custody. On January 16, 2000, 8 additional individuals were arrested for their involvement in the harassment, and a warrant was issued for Kazuhito Komatsu. Kazuhito Komatsu managed to evade capture and travelled to Sapporo, Hokkaido, while being tracked by journalist Kiyoshi Shimizu. On January 27, 2000, Komatsu's body was discovered in a lake in Teshikaga, Hokkaido. His death was ruled a suicide, and a note found in his hotel luggage revealed that he had intended to take his own life shortly after orchestrating Shiori's murder. Approximately a year after the incident, the family initiated a lawsuit against the prefectural police, claiming that Shiori's murder was directly linked to the negligence in their investigation. Additionally, they filed a separate lawsuit against the perpetrators, seeking compensation for damages. Kyoko said, quote, "I wanted to make it clear who had done what terrible things to Shiori. She concluded that she sought justice, quote, for the sake of my daughter's honour." A legislative hearing was held to examine the police handling of the Shiori Ino case, leading to significant media criticism of the Saitama police for their failure to act. The head of the Saitama police issued a formal apology to the Ino family. Following an investigation, 6 officers faced disciplinary action, and 3 senior officers were dismissed. These 3 were also indicted for falsifying documents related to their refusal to address the charges brought by Shiori Ino during the harassment campaign. On September 7, 2000, others involved in the murder, Toshio Katagiri and Hirokazu Furuta, were each sentenced to 18 months in prison, while Tsuyoshi Honda received a 14-month prison sentence, all of which were suspended. On December 22, 2000, Shiori Ino's family filed a lawsuit against the Saitama police. On February 16, 2003, the district court ruled that the Saitama police must pay compensation, but rejected the claim that police negligence contributed to her murder. This decision was upheld by the Supreme Court on August 30, 2006. Yoshifumu Kubota, the hitman, was sentenced to 18 years in prison. The 2 main accomplices, Satoshi Kawakami and Yoshitaka Ito, each received 15-year prison terms. Takeshi Komatsu was sentenced to life imprisonment, but he appealed the verdict. On September 5, 2006, the Supreme Court affirmed his original life sentence. During the criminal trial, Kenichi stated, quote, "When one thing is resolved, another anger arises. When I think about it, it overflows, but that's not what Shiori wants." Kyoko founded the National Crime Victims Association and stated, quote, "The most important thing is that there will be no more victims of crime, but the time I spent fighting through hardship for the next victim was worthwhile." The highly publicised murder prompted the creation of an anti-stalking law and led to widespread criticism of the police for disregarding the victim's warnings. The anti-stalking law was successfully passed in November of 2000, with stalking now being treated as media manipulation. In 2001, Kiyoshi Shimizu was honoured with the Editor's Choice Magazine Journalism Award and the National Association of Commercial Broadcasters in Japan Reporting Award for his reporting on the Shiori Ino case. He would later receive these awards again for his efforts in exonerating an innocent man in the Ashikaga murder case, which was part of the North Kanto serial young girl kidnapping and murder case. Shimizu also highlighted the parallels in the handling of the Ashikaga and Iizuka cases compared to the Ino case by the police and prosecutors. In 2019, Kenichi and Kyoko Ino spoke with the media on the 20th anniversary of their daughter's death. Kenichi stated, quote, "She was an active and competitive child. I don't think of it as a big milestone, but the past 20 years have flown by in the blink of an eye." He continued, quote, "Every day I think about what it would be like if Shiori were here. Hundreds, thousands of times. The pain and anger I feel remains the same, but I've gradually become able to control my emotions." As of 2024, the perpetrators have not issued an apology and the court-ordered compensation remains unpaid. The murder of Shiori Ino highlights significant failures in law enforcement and the need for stronger protection against stalking. Shiori's story serves as a crucial reminder of the importance of addressing harassment seriously and ensuring justice for victims. Kenichi and Kyoko sleep in the living room of their home, where Shiori's ashes are placed on an altar. Her father concluded, quote, "I want to spend time in the same place as Shiori. I think it is my duty as a parent to speak on behalf of my daughter, who can no longer speak."